Snaggy, shaggy, ratty, matty, oily, greasy, fleecy, shiny, gleaming, streaming, flaxen, waxen, knotted, polka dotted, twisted, beaded, braided, powdered, flowered, and confettied, bangled, tangled, spangled, and spaghettied. Please join me in welcoming Ginny with an explanation as she delivers her fifth speech, The Aesthetics of a Noggin.
My hair.
Yes.
It has been both the bane and pride of my physical existence. I've been putting a lot of thought into the aesthetics of my noggin lately, and I'm beginning to wonder if maybe it's not time to lop off my boring brown mop, or maybe go back to the color I had when I was a child. When I was a little girl, I had strawberry blonde hair that was full of soft curls. That was until my mother chopped it off, all my curls, leaving me with a Dorothy Hamill haircut. If you're not familiar with what a Dorothy Hamill haircut was because you're male, it was essentially just a men's short haircut that was kind of feathered. The problem with that haircut was that I had it during a time when I was attending a very strict private Baptist school that required girls to wear skirts below the knees and have hair at least as long as their shoulders. Oh. Now, we weren't Baptist, and I'm thinking that my parents probably used that as an excuse to convince the people at the school to allow me to attend anyway, although I think I was always kind of looked at as a little bit of a heathen. Oh. So there I was in my whimsical Little House on the Prairie dresses, my colored tights and my Mary Janes, just like all the other little girls, but with a very short Dorothy Hamill haircut. I was 7 years old and I'd already learned the power my hair could have over my life. I was 15 when I dyed it for the first time, and I can still remember picking out the box. Cinnaberry red. Perfect. Up until that day, my hair had been sun-bleached from swimming and marching band and just living outside. So the cinnaberry red that was supposed to come out resembling something that you might find in nature came out bright, bright, bright pink. And I was so excited. And my mother had not only refused to buy me hair dye, but had also refused to give her permission to me at all to dye my hair. But I took the money that I'd earned working as a weekend bagger at Winn-Dixie and I just bought it myself. She was napping when I did it. But I was so excited that it came out much brighter than I'd intended that I crawled up in bed with her to wake her up. Mom. Mommy. Mom. She opened her eyes, blinked, squinted. Huh? What did you do? I told you no! And it's pink! I know, isn't it pretty? It's been nearly 20 years since that day, and my mother still tells that story. Like I said, I was 15 when all of this was going on, and at that time I was trying to decide what was going to be my niche, my genre, my musically influenced high school persona. And what that meant for me was jeans with frayed hems. It was the early 1990s. Jeans with frayed hems, Nirvana t-shirts, flannels, my ever-present 8-eyelet burgundy Doc Martens, and my bright, bright, bright cherry red hair. I like to think that this persona came about somewhat organically and that I wasn't influenced too strongly by my peers. As a matter of fact, my best high school friends came about after I had taken on this persona, and they're still the people who I consider my best friends today. We were grouped together by our attitudes. You know, we're so alternative, you're so not. Whatever. We were further grouped together by our band t-shirts, the scuffs on our dots, the holes in our flannels. And I think my best girlfriends and I were further grouped together again by our shared cherry red hair. I'm proud to say that I dyed my hair cherry red months before Angela Chase did on the show My So-Called Life. Do you remember that show? No. Okay, so it speaks to a generation that might not be well represented in this room, but let's just say that within weeks of Angela Chase dyeing her hair bright cherry red, that the number of girls in my high school with crazy red hair increased exponentially. Oh. After high school, I dyed my hair every color I could get away with while working retail. The bright reds worked for a while before I discovered a dark burgundy that I could get away with. At work, in the bright light, it just looked dark brown, but in the sunlight or in the right light, it came out looking bright purple. I loved it. It fit in very well with my black lipstick stage of life. Over the years, I've had just about every haircut and every color that you could imagine. It was orange ones. It was a mistake, but that fit in quite well with my clubbing phase of life. When I became a stockbroker, I decided to cut it very short, and like Monica Lewinsky in her coiffed post-Clinton hair days. When I brought it out from that mistake, I came back to a very short and very severe A-line bob. And it was that haircut that allowed me to go back to a regular color, because the haircut that left me feeling very sleek and sophisticated was cool enough as it was. Now, I dye my hair because I have to, wash that gray right out of my hair. And every time I go to find a new box, I find myself picking up the crazier colors. They still make that cinnaberry red that I used nearly 20 years ago. The burgundy is long since discontinued, I believe, but look, this one has a purple hue, and I always put it back. And I find myself contemplating which color brown might be slightly more red or slightly lighter or darker. And every time I dye it, I blow dry it immediately and then go and stand in front of my husband and ask for his opinion. I want him to tell me how good it looks. And he always says, it looks good. Definitely more brown or red than the last one. Definitely. He's a good man. Because the truth is, we both know it's really just brown. And it's probably going to stay that way.